learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming in December 6, 2021, and the stock market is gonna go crazy tomorrow. But in the midst of it, I got one secret play that I think will hold up in terms of all of the volatility. But what we got the last couple weeks has been insane, and this week is probably gonna get a lot more crazier. We got a lot of economic data. We are gonna be getting the CPI on Friday, so that will be a very big catalyst and people will respond. But over the weekend, we didn't see volatility in the stock market because it was closed, but Bitcoin was open, and now a lot of the fear has spread into other asset classes, and that is going to be the question for the morning tomorrow. But we're still going to have a lot to talk about. There is a lot on the table for tomorrow and the rest of the week, and we're going to be leading into Powell after that. The real big question is, are we going to get a down Friday, down Monday? Is the volatility going to get worse? And what do we see from here? So I got the plays for you. I'm going to go over one of the plays that I like on the bullish side, and then a couple of other plays that I'll be looking at this week. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities. What happened over the weekend, the news, the events, all of that, and then what we can look forward for the rest of the week. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes for open. It's the first link in the description and it has been in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the-stock-market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch list come to life, and yes, if volatility just gets you up a little bit more early in the morning, then yeah, we're the place to be. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad, baby. And please do not forget, today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday. That is usually how it works, but this is the random account generator. We started this about a year and a half ago with $500, and we wanted to see the performance of random YouTube plays in the comments. So what we ask on this watch list, you post a random option trade, strike price, expiration date, all of that. Keep it below $100. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do a random comment picker, and then we are going to buy it. So shout out to everybody who has posted one. But right off the bat, coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week, you are going to get a ton of economic data. The most notable one is going to be the CPI on Friday. And get this, the expectation is expected to come in at 6.7%. That is huge. That's way higher than what we got last month. And especially as we're talking tapering and everything else going on, this is really going to be key. But you're also going to be getting consumer confidence, the trade balance, the JOLTS report, wholesale inventories, and then a couple of other rate hike decisions overseas from Brazil, Canada, and a few others. But the point is, there's going to be a lot of economic data. A couple will have the ability to move the market. And if you remember last week, we kind of moved in waves. So even though things have been picking up and we ended up lower and lower and lower, keep some of these catalysts in mind, because with this situation, some stuff may be able to move, or pretty much right when that catalyst is over, the market will be free to move. But now, at the same time this week, we are also still going to be getting earnings, and we saw quite an interesting effect last week, so I will be watching these. You're going to be hearing from Costco, AutoZone, Chewy, Lululemon, Broadcom, and UiPath, so keep your eye out for that. But now the big question coming into tomorrow, we're not going to really know yet, but did the crypto sell-off bring in some jitters in the morning tomorrow, and will people be freaked out? Bitcoin dropped almost like 20% or so, and this is people starting to talk about a risk off in every single asset class. Now, I will show you something. This is going to be a little thing that I have so far, and shout out to you if you watch the bond video, but this is the break even. Remember, the 10-year break even, I've showed you this a lot related to crypto, but this thing has been dropping, so that doesn't surprise me. But when I start to pull this out, this may, I'm not fully sold on this, but this may be a secret indicator. Essentially, if we watch the break even drop below 2.25 or even come back down to 2%, kind of like we saw in 2018, you saw a little smaller of a cycle. This is just bigger. I think this may be one of the signals there. But why I'm looking at this is because because it does correlate to crypto. It says a lot about yields. And if we start to get risk off in every single asset, that is something you didn't really see last week. We still had a couple of winners, and there's even some winners I'm looking at. So that is going to be the main key coming into your next pretty picture here, though. This could also say a lot. I am going to be watching a lot of the small caps, but essentially this chart is showing you the ratio between the NASDAQ 100 and the Russell 2000, and now this is the lowest that it's been all year, kind of coming back to last November, December. So in the midst of this sell-off here, you're watching the small caps get clapped. Again, a lot of the China stuff and everything going on, that has also had an impact as well, but now we want to watch, does it turn into selling everything else? Who are the winners and losers, and who is already getting affected? But now, as we get into next week, the bonds and the currencies, I think they're going to be very, very important. And then if we do get some real panic or some risk off unfolding, I'm thinking that you will watch the bonds and currencies absolutely go crazy, because they should be a little bit more calm, or there should be some relative cap leading into Powell. And then given all the catalysts we have, I'm expecting that we should get most of the bigger market moves earlier in the week, pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe by Thursday, Friday, it'll chill out, or it might play out kind of what we saw this week, where Thursday kind of keeps you at the same level, and then Friday has the reaction, and then nothing too crazy there. So keep in mind all of the catalysts that we got going on. And then I said this on Friday, just with everything in the name of volatility, there is a lot of different things happening. Omricon is very important, but there is also a potential taper tantrum, the China delisting, and that bringing down their stocks the most since 2008. China is also going to be getting news on Evergrande tomorrow. One of their defaulted payments, or the delayed payments, they have a deadline there, I believe Monday or Tuesday, but all of this stuff is going on. We still got the debt ceiling about a week or two out the way, as well as Powell too, and then everything going on with inflation in the CPI. So add that to what we saw on Friday. You saw some names drop 50%. Some industries, like even the software stocks, they're already down over 10% just in the last couple days. The point is, there is a lot of different things going on. That's why I'm saying watch the Russell, watch everything. If you do get a real risk-off attitude, you're already watching some of the wheels turn here. And then when it comes to setting up the next move, we really want to know where the market's priority is, because there is a lot of different things to be reacting to right now, so you got to stay safe. But coming into the company news and events now, there was a lot of different company news, a little bit of politics that we'll have to keep our eye out for, but a lot of this is just the same things we've seen over the last couple weeks. All of those big factors that I said going on, this has been dominating. And even over the weekend, there was a couple of Omricon headlines. It wasn't too bad. There was some action there with Germany. They're also getting a new prime minister, and we're going to see what happens tomorrow. Fauci said something about reanalyzing the travel restrictions on the daily, so some of that stuff can have an effect, but for the most part, what's already been set in motion in the market is there. We're really just going to need some good news to emerge, or any of the things lingering, bad news or any developments, that's what's going to move things. So coming into the first piece of news here, another thing on Apple. It seems last week a lot of people were talking about Apple warning about the iPhone's demand or whatever it was. Remember, that was a supplier who warned and not a company, but there's another article here over the weekend saying that there's more worries about Apple and the phone demand given the rebates that they've been offering for some of these cheaper phones. Not everybody has been able to access them, so keep your eye out for that tomorrow. It seems like there's been a lot of these articles coming into the end of the year here, but watch them. Then ABCL, we got a little bit of this on Friday, but they're partnered with Eli Lilly, and they got emergency use authorization for the first antibody therapy for COVID patients under 12, so keep your eye out for this tomorrow. Eli Lilly didn't move too much, but ABCL looked like it was down, but that's going to be interesting. Then Amazon, U.S. prosecutors allege that Whole Foods legally banned workers from wearing Black Lives Matter masks and even punish workers, so they're getting in trouble or investigated for that. And then DWAC, the Trump company, the company has agreed to a $1 billion investment in Trump's media company following the combination of both entities. There was also news about them doing something with Rumble. That was on Friday with like CFIV or something like that. But so far, right here, right now, DWAC has actually been listed as the best performing SPAC so far in the last 12 months. So that one's very, very interesting. And then Starbucks, Bernie Sanders is meeting with the workers in Buffalo on Monday to discuss unionizing efforts. There's been a lot of back and forth with them and Amazon. If this does take a turn, that could be negative for Starbucks. And then Nintendo, Twitter, and the home builders, they were all mentioned as buys over the weekend there by Barron's. They gave an update. They said Nintendo's game releases going to give them momentum. They said Twitter's drop after the new CEO gives a discount. And then they said all of the home builders might benefit from a 10-year trend in home building sentiment or home demand. So thought that one was interesting. And then the final political one right here, Biden has a call with Putin tomorrow or on Tuesday, and he plans to raise the Ukraine issue, but there was also some tensions this weekend. It was one of our representatives and then Lavrov, I believe, but a lot of things are escalating, and some people are pointing to Russia making a move probably in later January. So this will be a key to watch, especially with some of the currency volatility and oil volatility. This news can get very, very big if this starts to boil up here. So we are definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that. But the volatility is still there. We still got to respond. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, but it's going to be an exciting week, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity. So I hope you're ready. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got 3 different stocks that I'm looking at coming into tomorrow, and I did make a lot of plays on Friday. I took some profits. There's still some put plays that I'm holding for the downside, but if you've been watching all last week, I also have some call positions as well too. But now coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week, these 3, they kind of stick out to me. In the first one, this is that secret safe haven play. This is the one that I'm liking, Walgreens. We made a play on this one on Friday, but I just think this is going to be an easy one for next week. Just look at their chart. They were able to close up 4.2 even in the midst of any of the volatility on Friday. They just broke out and did their thing, and this is related to news. So I'm viewing this as kind of external to the situation. They announced that they're going to be selling off the Boots Alliance part of Walgreens. That's the UK grocer side of them. And even last month or so, you heard about Morrison. That was another $10 billion deal. So they're expected to get $10 billion off of selling that unit, but this is usually good news. We've seen a couple of pop and drops on Walgreens before, so it will be a little bit weird, but I do like them a lot. They did hold up on Friday, and that was a very key metric, but then beyond that, the premiums are still a little bit weird, and depending on tomorrow now, that might fix it. But I grabbed 5 of the January 52.5 calls for 55 cents. I believe they are up about 28% since we got them, so there was already a little bit of a premium juice, even though we caught a 4% move. We probably should have made more, and there was a lot of volatility. This one's even further out the money, but that's why I'm saying coming into tomorrow, if they do continue, the contracts should be able to run, and that will be crazy. But overall, they did good. They're looking like they might move a little bit not related to the market with the news, so that will be a good sign coming into tomorrow. But that's the first play. Now coming into the second play, I'm going to be going with Oma. I decided to make a play on this one, and we talked about this last week, but essentially it's going to be both a catalyst play and just given the volatility, I think it might be good to flip as well. There's been a lot of drama since that fake PR that we saw last week, but this week they're going to be having that presentation at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Conference, so this is where they're going to be speaking. That's the second catalyst. It might be good, but all in all, the stock has already even dropped like 50-60% in the last week. Depending on how that goes, I think there will be a lot of volatility, and on Friday it was able to start moving through that $10 range, so I really like that. Remember, we got the first play that first time we got hustled on it. I'm down 85% on that, but I decided to go a little bit bigger here. I grabbed 20 of the January 17.5 contracts for 65 cents. They're up a little bit, but why I decided to go with the options instead of the shares on this one, because it is a biotech. But remember when I was talking about this play when we first made it, these options were going for a lot of money. So to be able to get this much closer at this low of a price with these options, these same ones were going for like $9 or so or something crazy, but the stock did drop 50%. So this one's going to be a little bit riskier. Hopefully the biotechs move a little separate from the market as well too, but I'm going to be watching that. And then finally, Tesla and HD. These are 2 of the main downside plays that I have. We did take a lot of profits. I'll go over them, but I did sell one of the HDs, so I will be looking to double dip this week. I'm going to be monitoring those contracts. If there is more volatility, we like HD. We got like like 40% from the contract, so that was good, but the stock didn't drop. That's why I decided to be a little cautious with it. But then Tesla, I'm pretty much using this as the VIX, gonna be watching it, and now the premiums will say a lot. If you were watching there on Friday, we had that one play that we got last week. It closed 60%, it hit high as 80, but this may just give us a good place marker depending on what happens. So gonna be watching that and then looking to play all of those. But as far as the rest of the trades and what we did on Friday, you can see some of the action here. I made a couple of moves. I got scammed on the DocuSign. I bought 5 of these in the morning. Remember, they dropped 50%. I meant to sell them at $1.30 and I left the limit order thing unlocked, but still got a small gain. We could have did a lot better. Then, if you remember this December 31.55 put, I sold out of it for $2,600. I bought it for $2,100, but I held this for like a month or so, and I was actually down 70% on it. So I used the volatility to get out of that play with the gain. Then I grabbed McDonald's. This is kind of a secondary play to the Home Depots. That's why I sold out of the HDs later in the day. This got to cover, and these contracts held up good. I grabbed 10 of the January 180 puts for 52 cents. They're up about 30%, and they held with some of that weird volatility on Friday, so I really like them. And then I grabbed 3 of the Boeing March 275 calls for $239 a pop. Even though Boeing was down and it's kind of been holding those levels, it moved a lot, but the reason why I got it is that Friday, they had a lot of good news with the China 737 stuff and all that. They already sold off pretty heavy leading into it, so I thought this one could be a good bounce play, or again, if we do get a magical Santa Claus rally or people start to chill out either before or after the Fed, if we get a bounce, these could be good. But I talked about this on Friday. Any of the plays that I'm looking to hold longer, like Microsoft, IBM, Apple, and any of those Santa Claus rally plays, I'm making sure I get minimum March on them. You got to be careful with some of these Januaries because those could really get clapped, especially if they've been dropping and you're waiting for them to bounce. The January contracts will be more vulnerable, so if you plan to swing it a little longer, try to look for a little bit more time. But that was the third play. And then if you remember those Neos, I decided to sell out of them at 15 cents. Remember, we sold 50 at 12 cents, then sold the other 50 at 15. I bought them at 5 cents a pop, so that was a good play, and it was January. But why did I decide to do that? I still like the idea of the Neo short considering everything going on, but I do have a old play for January, kind of being guttered there. It was closer to the money, so it has a lot more work to do, but I still have another put, and I'm already up 66% on it. It's worth $1,000. This one goes out to March 2022, so my idea was take some profits, pay for some of the other trades that we missed out along the way, and then I still do have some exposure to that one, so going to be watching Neo a lot this week. I think that'll be key. And then Zoom, these are the January 150 puts. If you remember, I held these from the beginning of the year. I was down 60-70%. Volatility brought them out to life. I was able to sell for like an 18% return. Got out of that play. Then we flipped a couple of the daily SPYs. Then I grabbed the OMA, the Walgreens, and then we sold out the HDs at $6. Got about 40% profit. So a lot of action on Friday, a lot of profit taking. And that's where I'm saying as far as the downside, I got some of those Neos. We still got that XLF at the money. It's a little bit smaller that we're holding. And then I also got the Tesla as well as, and then I also got some of the hedges there on Roblox too. But pretty much took a lot of the profits on the put side. We've been grabbing some each and every day, switching out. We got some calls, but hoping to play it both ways. And you can see just taking advantage of the volatility, still making sure we take profits and responding to what every day has thrown at us. But those are the main plays. As far as everything else, I'm going to be watching Microsoft. If they slip a little bit, I think they could be one of those safe haven plays, but just watch how it plays out. And when it gets footing, those premiums we got that one day are only down about 10%. So even though the stock has dropped $10, the premiums have not gotten down, but I'm going to be watching them. Neo, Baba as well. Just watch any of the China plays. Again, it's been the worst drop since 2008, so that's key. And then Abbott, I talked about this on Friday. I did not end up making a play, so I'm going to be watching them, but you have seen some of the crazy volatility with some of these names, so be careful for that. ABCL, that's the one that got the Eli partnership in the FDA emergency approval. Gonna watch that in the morning. And then Costco, they have earnings, so this one might be a good pre-earnings continuation or pre-earnings play. Maybe we'll see the continuation, but that's all gonna depend on what the market throws at us. Watch Apple. They're still at that safe haven level, so if they do start sell off, that'll say something to you. Again, the fact Microsoft sold off already shows it's a little bit weaker, but Apple is still holding that strength position, so watch out for them. And then Coinbase, just considering with what you saw with Bitcoin over the weekend, I'd watch them, but don't forget, Bitcoin volatility is actually good for them. So I want to see how this translates to the stock tomorrow. And then finally, TLT and the dollar, baby. This one is very simple. TLT is probably going to keep going up. You're breaking out from this level. It's already higher than a lot of people think. You're pretty much above where we were at to start the year. The currencies will be a very big key, but in this case right now, especially with CPI on the way, bonds are going to be key, but we have to see what sort of pregame reaction before Powell do we get. That will tell us a lot, but I'm still waiting on the play because this is one move, and then pretty much after Powell speaks, he will confirm green light or red light, and then we're going to know what happens. But before I end it, just ask me about the Japanese yen tomorrow, and we're going to talk about it, and you'll see what happens. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shine. I need you to remember, be yourself, baby. Open your opportunities. But the code loves you. I love you. And we'll see you in the morning. Let's go.